something.
Are you married? Do you have kids?
Yes.
If you knew with 100% certainty that Allah killed your own child in a very horrible fashion, like very painful, torturous death, and you knew Allah did it,
Yeah.
would you still worship him?
Yes. Because he's the one who owns the child in reality. So he's the one who, whatever carbon atoms or soul, whatever this child was made up of, I had like very little to do with this child in terms of bringing him to this universe, but it was ultimately the will of Allah to give him life, and he has the right to take his life.
But I'm saying like take his life or her life in a very horrible fashion, like basically torture your child. You would worship a God that would torture your child?
Yes.
Why? Because he gave you life?
No, because he owns, so the ultimate right of the ultimate ownership of this child belongs to God. So everything, like when we talk about the entity that created the universe, right? That created the laws of nature, created all of these things, also created the soul and the body this child is made up of. So he's the one who, either ex nihilo or from like other pre-existing particles, he made this child, or allowed. I mean, obviously, child came from sperm and ovum getting together and giving birth and all that, but you know what I mean. So the existence of this child as an entity, whatever the soul is made up of, was created by Allah. So he can take it apart, he can turn them into bits and pieces.
But why couldn't
morally there's nothing wrong with it. Like in terms of our understanding of morality, there's nothing morally wrong for
right. Let's say
God to be able to do this.
Yeah, let's say it's morally right for Allah to do this, but like what's the downside? What's the problem with you just saying, okay, Allah, I believe you exist, but I'm not going to worship you anymore for what you did to my kids or kid? Why not say that? What's the worst that could happen?
What's the downside?
Yeah,
I mean, it's just not rational. It's just not rational. It's not rational in the sense that if someone owns something, in an ultimate sense, he has a right over ownership or property. He can, and we can't give any example from a worldly point of view. And a lot of people give me example. Okay, if you own a house, and can you just burn it down? I mean,
should a slave worship his master because the master owns the slave?
Yeah, I think that's the highest level any human being can get to, is the level of slavery. So for in our worldview, abd is a word used for human beings. So, and the highest status any human being can attain is to be a perfect slave to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or God, when you are in full submission to God.
Okay, let's put it on me. Let's say you pray to Allah right now, and Allah does light the matches. And let's say I'm a man of my word, and I start looking into, I believe in the supernatural now, and I start looking into Islam, and I become convinced that at least one version of Islam is correct. But let's say Allah does, and I know, and you know, and everybody knows, Allah killed and tortured my child, and I say, that's it. I'm done with you, Allah. I still believe you're there, but I'm done. I'm not going to worship anymore. What happens to me?
What happens to you? I mean, if you reject knowing that God is your creator.
No, I do know he's a creator. I just don't worship him.
Yeah, I mean, you'll be punished for it. There'll be negative consequence for it.
What are the negative consequences?
So if you completely say that, oh God, you exist, but I'm not going to listen to you or worship you, then yeah, that's the definition of not wanting to accept truth. You're wanting to accept something that's false, which is why.
But what's my punishment?
The consequence of the hellfire, whatever.
Hellfire.
Eternal hell. Yeah.
Eternal hellfire.
Yes.